Me now is CNN anchor and chief international correspondent Christiane Amanpour. Christiane, always great to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you, Jake.
So Russia has long denied any involvement in this long list of mysterious deaths of Russians in the UK. The British Foreign Secretary said today this would not have happened without Vladimir Putin's order. What do you make of it all?
Well, look, I think there's no doubt that all the Western governments from here in the United States, whether it's the White House or the foreign policy establishment and Congress, to Britain, to France, Germany, and around, absolutely believe that these kinds of blatant and very, very complicated attacks on sovereign states can only be done by the authority or the approval or the order of the president. And that's what they believe, which is why they're being quite strong about standing up to say that. I mean, Theresa May told her parliament that, she strongly believed before she came out with the actual sort of evidence and the expulsions that this was, quote, an unlawful attack by the Russian state on a sovereign state, their own. I mean, these are very strong words. And ever since Vladimir Putin invaded and then annexed Crimea and then sent the little green men, actually Russians, into eastern Ukraine, there has been this Cold War, but now war by other means between Russia and the West. Cyber war, interference like that, a stepping up of actual, military sort of confrontation without it getting to confrontation yet. And then this, what many people believe, revenge attacks and lessons that do not cross me because I can get you and your family. That's what the daughter apparently was all about if you talk to the exiles and experts.
The White House was asked yesterday whether Russia is a friend or foe of the U.S. The White House said is up to Putin to decide for himself whether they want to be a good actor or a bad actor. But empirically, given all that's transpired, the long list that you just recited, Crimea, election interference, cyber attacks, can Russia ever be a friend of the United States and of the West?
Well, I think it can. I mean, you only have to go back to the post-Soviet era, the era between Boris Yeltsin and President Clinton. For a short period, there was a time when they were working together with the same initiatives, the same, at least the same sort of kind of worldview that wasn't implacably forced against each other. But they've always had differences, whether it's over the Balkans or wherever it might be. But the problem is that essentially after President Bush, first got Russia to help them out as staging paces for launching the invasion of Afghanistan and the rest. I think Iraq was a step too far. And then when it was Libya during the Arab Spring, Russia never forgave them. And now, only after Europe put sanctions on Russia for its invasion of Ukraine, in other words, violating international norms, big country invading, annexing small country, Russia versus Crimea, they have been at loggerheads and worse ever since. And the West believes that it is Putin's aim to destabilize the Western democratic order and their institutions, and not just the political institutions, but NATO and all the other orders that it believes is uniquely threatening, and they want to destabilize. And Vladimir Putin is former KGB and the head of the FSB. He knows how to do this, and Russia has a long history of waging war by alternative means, whether it's fake news and propaganda. Now it's translated into, cyber warfare.
So, Christiane, you've reported from all over the globe, been to war zones on every continent, interviewed many heads of state. You have a new series coming up, which is quite a departure from what people are used to from you. It's called Sex and Love Around the World, in which you tackle some tough questions about intimacy and female empowerment. What inspired you to make this series?
Well, there's no obvious segue here right now except to say that it is a real respite from some of the incredible stress that we see in the political sphere right now. But what inspired me was precisely, I wanted to see the flip side of the human condition from all the extreme coverage that I'd done in the past, watching people on the edge of survival, compared now to watching people really sort of investigate and explore and get in touch with what makes them human. And what is more human than love and sexuality? And I did explore it from the perspective of women. I'm a woman. I've spent my career exploring women and kids and young girls who are victims of these wars, sex trafficking, all the rest of it. We did something completely different. We didn't focus on women as victims in porn, in prostitution, in sex trafficking. We went to all these unlikely cities and actually found lots of young women trying to push the boundaries to sort of break out of the very conservative norms that exist around them in culture, religion, politics, and particularly personal politics, sexual politics, just the right to choose their own partners in societies that have always had arranged marriages, forced marriages, and the like. And it's really eye-opening. I think there's a little of something for everybody in there,
I'm looking
including
forward,
you, Jake.
I'm sure. Looking forward to it very much. Christiane Amanpour, always good to have you. Thanks so much. Be sure to tune in. Christiane Amanpour, Sex and Love Around the World. It premieres this Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern, only on CNN.